Hey there! It's me, Vantablack, and today I'm here to talk to you about an interesting piece of lost media. The Bibles for Seasons 2 and 4 of Code Lyoko. The Bibles are conceptual documents created prior to the start of the show which outline the general idea of the characters, setting, plot, and such. While the Bible for the first season of Code Lyoko has been released under mysterious circumstances and is available on codelyoko.fr, the other two confirmed Bibles have yet to surface. What do I mean? First, a little history lesson. Code Lyoko started as Garage Kids, which was dark as fuck and serialized. But the suits didn't like this, so it slowly got changed into a lighter and more formulaic cartoon. The one we know today, or at least the one we knew at the start of Season 1. But after a whole first season of episodic content, two of the writers convinced the higher-ups to let them flesh out the backstory a tad bit more in order to create more storytelling opportunities, as well as making things a tad bit more dark and serialized. From an interview with Sophie de Croisset, question: in the literary Bible for Season 1, Aelita was supposed to be an artificial intelligence created by Franz Hopper and not a human being. Why did you decide to change this when you rewrote the backstory after Season 1? Answer: well, when I arrived on the series, there wasn't really a backstory. Nobody had written in detail what had happened to FH and the supercomputer before Jeremy and the group reactivated it. The concept was very minimal, so Jerome Muscadet and I, in agreement with production, decided to flesh out the backstory to generate more possible stories. And thus, the series Bible was rewritten for Season 2. This Season 2 Bible probably contains the juiciest bits of lore in the entire series, the foundational pillars of its backstory, and yet it has yet to find its way into the hands of the general public. Season 3 probably didn't have a Bible, considering it hasn't been mentioned anywhere, and it was a very short transitional mini-season. Which brings us to Season 4. The Bible is said to have been rewritten again at the start of Season 4, as evidenced by this quote: Code Lyoko was no longer just a cartoon, but a franchise with potential success. Rather than a repetitive season like Season 1 was, Season 2 revolved around a scenario. Sophie de Croisset and Jerome Muscadet then changed the literary Bible we talked about before. They created the entire series' background. To put it simply, they invented the origin of Lyoko, the story of Franz Hopper, the creation of the supercomputer in Lyoko, Xana's revolt. Everything was created at that time. The literary Bible wouldn't change again until the end of Season 4. Seems like a bit of a stretch, doesn't it? Why would they rewrite the Bible after the conclusion of the show? Well, as fans found out in July 2010 when a PDF from the professionals only section of the Moonscoop website leaked, there were plans in store. It outlined a very interesting future direction for the series that was sadly not taken. There were 3 different projects that were talked about. The first, Code Lyoko Legacy, was an extended epilogue to send off the series. The second, and perhaps most interesting, is Code Lyoko Reloaded, New Era, which seems to be either a sequel series or a film of some sort or something. It takes place 2 years after Xana's defeat and the deactivation of the supercomputer, and concerns the shadowy secret organization behind Project Carthage that was only vaguely alluded to in the main series. This is the shit I dreamed of as a child. It's really sad this never happened. The third and final project was just a prototypical phase of what would go on to become Code Lyoko Evolution. The less we talk about that, the better, honestly. So yeah, 2/3 of the confirmed series Bibles for Code Lyoko are lost. I hope this video draws attention to them and they're eventually found, or at the very least I entertain some people. Well, why do I give a fuck? Finding the Bibles is an enticing prospect, considering the show didn't really delve into the backstory too much. It was only really alluded to at certain points. After the end of the series, many fans were left wondering if the plot threads would ever be resolved. They had high hopes after the release of that PDF, only to slowly lose those hopes. As it became clear things were headed in a different direction. What can we imagine is in these Bibles? Well, the Code Lyoko Chronicles are a good indicator. They were a series of novels published after the end of the series that continued and ended the story. They technically take place in an alternate universe where the events of the series were more condensed, but they are still way more faithful to the original series than Evolution, so a lot of people like to imagine they're the canon ending. They plunge deep into the backstory and present a conclusion to the series in a much more satisfying way. According to this interview with Sophie de Croisset, the writers of it were probably given the series Bibles. Question: you must know that after Season 4, Moonscoop published 4 books, the Code Lyoko Chronicles, which followed the story of Code Lyoko but in an alternate universe. These books plunged into the backstory. My question is, have you, the original writers of the series, been consulted for writing these books? Is the backstory you wrote the same as the one used in these books? Or, on the other hand, did you not participate in at all in the creation process of these books, and Was your backstory not respected? Answer: We were invited to write it. I didn't have the time back then. I think Francois Dion accepted, but I don't know how far he got in writing it. I never read the books in detail, so I don't know if the backstory used is the one I wrote. I think the authors of these books had the concept and the backstory as starting documents. They may have diverged from them. I'll need to read the books before I can give a more precise answer. So what's in the Chronicles? Well, a lot of backstory about Franz Hopper and Project Carthage and all that fun stuff. So much I'd basically have to do a whole other video to really do it justice. I definitely recommend giving them a read if you're clamoring for more lore after the end of the series. The English fan translations are available on codelyoko.fr and archive.org. So yeah, that's that. I'll link to the Lost Media Wiki article for them in the description below. Feel free to like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Thanks for watching, have a good one!